Hey everyone, welcome to the Made It in Music podcast. I'm Riley Taylor, our community manager here at Full Circle Music, and I'm so excited for you to hear this upcoming episode because today we sat down with Sarah Morey and Kelly Etheridge from Lucky Money Entertainment about pitching to playlists. Lucky Money is a Nashville-based entertainment company created by artists who are passionate about getting songs heard. This was recorded along with our live online audience from our Song Chasers community. You can learn more about Song Chasers at joinsongchasers.com. For now, let's dive into the episode.
So we want to talk about assets, and this goes to the point of how are you pitching yourself across the board. And assets in what we talk about is everything from an EPK, which is your electronic press kit, which I can explain more in a second, to my phone is dead, so look at yours, to a one sheet. If you're touring, like, do you have your rider written down? Do you have your hospitality? If you need a bio, do you have cohesive photos? And this is more if you're putting out a song under your own like name or artist. But also, I mean, I think if you're pitching songs as just a songwriter, having some of these things is still helpful, you know. I know a lot of songwriters who only write songs and still have to have a bio, right?
Oh yeah.
So just making sure you have all of these. Seth is Swamp Seth is exactly example. But it's you got to have yourself packaged because you are the product.
Yeah.
Even though you're either like cutting the song yourself as an artist, or you're a songwriter on the artist and you're a songwriter on the song, like you are still a product. Making a product, which is very meta, but you've got to have yourself branded and packaged. And so typing up a bio and having your buddy read it to be like, does this make sense? And not doing it in first person, dear God.
Yeah, don't be like, I write
Great tip.
Yeah,
great tip.
But doing like a third person, the source.com, some of those things. But you're building your just brand. And so if you're making an EPK, that is just like a PDF, 1 to 3 page, what is that? Just PDF, I guess is what it's called. And you have your bio on there. You have cohesive photos so that someone sees a face. You have like anything that's happened. You've played 35 live shows. You've toured with the Steel Drivers. I just made one, so these are all in my brain.
I was gonna
anything like
say
that
on that topic, on that subject, back to like the really like root, like early on when I was 15, I had attended Grammy camp in Nashville, like a camp, like this kind of, you know, like just something that I went to. And I had gotten on stage at festivals. I played the Florida Strawberry Festival. I played the Gasparilla Music Festival. I had opened like for like my buddy's farm festival that the Bellamy Brothers played at. And he asked me to like get up on stage and open for them when I was like 15. Like all this was around 14, 15, 16 for me. And so when I was releasing songs, by the time I was like around, and then because of all that stuff, I got chosen as a Hard Rock ambassador, like all these things trickle affected, like in my hometown, not in Nashville, like when I was in high school. And what I did, like I milked that stuff as much as I could. Anytime I was releasing a song, I would be like, you know, Sarah Morey releases her EP Dust, and she Grammy camp attendee, alum, and you know, Hard Rock Cafe ambassador,
the Bellamy Brothers.
Open for the Bellamy Brothers.
Like if you
and people would freak, they'd be like, "This girl's a big deal."
And all of this goes into your assets, into your bio, into your EPK. If you have a song, if you wrote a song that your buddy happened to open the Wisconsin Blueberry Festival, and the same day Dierks Bentley also played, but your buddy did not have any contact whatsoever with Dierks, but he played a song that you wrote. Your song was played in the set opening for Dierks Bentley.
Yes.
You know, like there's a way to package all of this.
Yeah, exactly. Like make it sound as shiny as possible.
I've been on a real Dierks kick lately. So.
Hey, aren't we all?
Also, I saw Doug's comment. I'm so sorry to say this, Doug, and I know we don't know each other, but you're gonna have to search a lot longer than that. It's gonna take a long time before you have like a good solid list of actual emails or social media if you're only searching in those discovered on parts of Spotify to find it in those little bios on the playlist.
And back when I was doing this too, like, which was not that long ago, but when we had our label and publishing, we had to, these are the things that we had to do.
Yeah.
And one of our biggest, ultimately independent playlist advocates, I built a relationship with him because he had some, and a lot of people will have these branded playlists. They'll have like a name, and he had this name of these playlists that he had, and he had a series of them. And he was an artist as well. So this was a smart strategy for him to get his stuff associated with those. So I found his playlist, and then I just did a bunch of Googling. Eventually I found it on Facebook.
Yeah.
And so you have to be like a detective. Like
Yes.
you have to look under every corner, and it's not that hard.
Do you want to work with us?
Yeah.
No, I do not want to hear it.
So one thing we do, just Riley, you've gone too. This is our podcast now. We're the captains now. Really quick, this was helpful for me when I started, because I handle most of our playlisting at Lucky Money. When I'm going in, I want to build our network, right? So I will start digging, and I'll click the TV on and just be kind of mindlessly digging. I'll start an Excel sheet or Google sheet, and I will start on Spotify, get bored, but I'll like click around on Spotify, get emails, contacts, whatever, put them in my little Google sheet. Then I'll go to Instagram, type in playlists. I'll find playlists on Instagram that I haven't already hit up, because that's why I'm keeping a Google sheet, right? So I'm not just blowing people up, constantly annoying them. And then I'll go to Facebook. I'll do the same thing. I'll do it on TikTok. And then I have an email that I have already written, and I just copy and paste. I'm a copy and paster.
Now,
I have a template, and I say howdy because it's endearing, and then I put their name because it's personalized, right? And if I need to like zhuzh it up and be like, Riley, I love the way you promote on TikTok using this thing to show Riley that I'm actually looking, right? But you're still using a copy and paste template.
Now,
Keeping track.
shameless plug. If y'all don't want to do all this stuff, we've already done it.
We did.
And obviously, and
Yeah, this is part of what they do. So
if y'all don't want to do this stuff, we'll pitch your song.
yeah, and to Doug's point, if somebody needs to market a website with these contacts, as soon as you do that, those contacts become not valuable.
We don't make our contacts public, but we offer our network to people to, reach our network of playlisters. Now, also Callie gets paid to sit there and research all this stuff. And so, like if you don't want to
Looking for an intern.
We do it, but also there's a lot of tools if you're a DIY person, then that's obviously we are. But yeah.
So we've literally just scratched the tip of the iceberg on this pitching playlisting strategy. I know you guys have a ton of questions. Before we jump into Q&A, how can people, if they're interested in working with you guys, what's the best way for them? Is it social media to connect, website, email?
We have an artist interest form, and that's really the best way to kind of get
Once again, you'll be interacting with me.
Yes. And me. But we have an artist interest form. It's linked in our Instagram bio, but you can also reach it on our website. If you click on work with us, our website's luckymoneyent.com. We can pull it up on the screen share so I can show you guys that we do not have our services listed on our website. You can't add them to your cart. And we really are word of mouth. And so we're really thankful to be here with you guys so that we can have a little word of mouth. There we go. But if you click on work with us,
luckymoneyent.com is there.
So we do have a membership that you can join right away, but then if you keep scrolling, there's an artist interest form. And so on that page, there's both of those.
And this is when you sign up on our artist interest, what that gives you is like a free meeting, like complimentary meeting with Sarah in order, or me, I guess, if Sarah's busy. And we just talk about how we could fit in. And so at the end of the day, if it's not a fit for either side, like that's pretty easily discovered. But then if it is, then we can talk about what we can offer and how we can work together.
Would you mind copying this URL and putting it in? Because so that contact link, thank you for dropping that in there. The contact link is not our artist interest form, which you can still send us a message in there, but it'll take us a longer time to get back to you, just to be honest. The artist interest form that is our fault. We should change that on the website. We're still, we're just a year old, but that, yes, work with us. That one is a better way to just kind of directly work with us. But obviously this is stuff that you guys can definitely, kind of start making a dent in and tackling, and you can research it. We are big fans of artists that swing the bat for themselves, is what we say. If you got to swing the bat to get a hit, and we are swinging the bat, but we can only swing the bat as hard as the artist does for themselves typically. And so we do appreciate people like y'all very much that are curious about how to, do that for yourself as well. And so there's a lot of ways that you can be kicking for yourself while we are also
Changing metaphors.
swinging the bat. I don't know. I've never done that before. It's always swinging the bat. I do a lot of baseball metaphors, but
We can move into Q&A.
yeah.
No, it's awesome. It's awesome. So yeah, thank you, by the way, so much for taking the time to come here and just, I learned a lot of stuff, and I'm sure y'all did as well. So let's open it up to Q&A. If y'all have a question, just hit that little hand raise button or type them in the chat. We can start with Tom's.
Yeah. So Tom, we typically, probably our biggest genre is the country, folk, Americana, any like kind of thread down from pop country, anything in that family is our biggest group. But we work with some pop. We've had we've had rock. We've had a lot.
Rock.
We had soft rock.
Mhm.
And like what's the genre that's like Third Eye Blind? What is that genre?
Like a dad rock.
Alternative. Dad rock. What is that alternative?
Like alternative rock and alt rock. Yeah.
Blind. Sarah's younger than you. You just hurt my feelings. But that kind of like alternative soft rock. We've been on that genre. We haven't moved into rap.
We did like pop, hip hop, like with beats, tracks,
Moving
like that
in,
kind of thing.
yeah.
We've
R&B.
done that, R&B, yes. And we are not a genre specific company. We are very ill defined, if you can't tell. We really just love getting songs heard, and we have the ability to do that in various genres. So that's probably the best way to do it.
That's good.
Describe
Yeah,
it.
great
Yeah.
answer.
We can jump over to Dave.
Hello, this is all very
Let's
enlightening.
see. Are we hearing you, Dave?
Are you
Hold on one
hearing me?
second. Let me make sure my audio is properly set on my end.
Your computer looks
Can you hear me now?
Sorry, I have all these crazy screens and windows and stuff. Okay, we will hear you in 2 seconds.
Sorry, Dave. 1 second.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is all very enlightening. Thank you for all this insight. And I probably will be at some point contacting you so I'm a singer-songwriter, producer. My question is, I do all kinds of different genres and all kinds of different things. I'm going to start releasing a lot of stuff, but in a lot of different areas. And I always this question in different contexts. In this context, what do you recommend? Like, releasing lots of different genres and instrumentals and those kinds of things all under just my name, or should I be thinking and branding each and every as a moniker, which is better for playlisting purposes?
I see.
I wouldn't stop me if I'm wrong. I wouldn't put it under, from what I'm understanding from your question, I wouldn't put it under different like artist names, but I think you could package a product if you're putting out, like dual singles or an EP. So just an extended project, which like 3 to 5 instrumentals, packaging that kind of, so keeping the genres kind of together, but you can put it under one artist name and still pitch successfully to playlists. As long as like, don't pitch an instrumental to like pop country 2023 kind of playlist, but knowing what you're pitching to shouldn't detract from the fact that you have it all under one overarching thing.
I like that point, and I will say we have a Lucky Money member that like has that same kind of situation where he like writes, it's Michael.
Oh, thank you.
And he writes Western music. He writes like acoustic singer-songwriter music that's not Western at all. And he has a children's album. He has so many different things. And so what he already had done before working with us was he had released his children's album under a different name, and then he had put the Western album out under a different name. So they're on 2 different Spotify profiles. And so we're just kind of, trying to continue instead of like trying to combine them because that's a lot of work. Like we're keeping, basically what we're doing with him is we're keeping his children's stuff on one, and then we're doing everything else, anything that's not children's music, on the one that he already has that has the Western project on it. So even if it's pop, even if it's for like a normal adult, like contemporary audience, if it's not like children's music, it's going there. I don't think that's terrible if it's something that's that different to like separate it.
Yeah.
But like I think in general, if it's just like genre, Taylor Swift, look at her and her eras. You can brand this. You can brand being different with every project.
sure.
And that's a press point.
Yeah. So like, it's not something to shy away from if that's just who you are authentically. If every single thing you're doing just has its own vibe, then like, that's just who you are. Be like, I am versatile.
Yeah.
And to our earlier guest from a couple months back with Tommy Prophet, he does this exact same thing where he'll have cinematic songs, volume 1. He'll have Creed covers, volume 1. He'll have songs to sleep to, volume 1. Like you can, so as long as it's branded, it's
That's
still
the key.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Great. Thank you.
We got a couple questions from Jessica. Her first question is, can you pitch songs that have already been released, or does the method you've shared apply to pre-release only?
No, we can pitch a song
Pitch
anytime.
your songs whenever.
Whenever we run playlisting campaigns on songs that have been out for 2 years. I'm running a playlisting campaign on my song that's been out for 2 years. You can run it on 5 years. As long as the song is live and out.
A quick point to
As long as it
that.
sounds relevant.
Yeah. A quick point to this too, and I'll try to make this as concise as possible. Again, Spotify is a social media platform-ish thing, and it runs on an algorithm. So what that means is if you're about to put out a song, so it's like Sarah was saying, she hasn't put out a song in how many years?
It's been like almost 2.
2 years. So if Sarah's about to put out a new song, you want to trigger that Spotify algorithm to start working for you and being like, oh, like Sarah's coming in, like something's happening, making it look more relevant. So if that looks like going in, changing your photos, updating your artist pick on Spotify, which is through the Spotify for Artists platform, updating your bio, even if it's changing one word, it triggers it. You can also re-promote an older song, a past release. And so what that does is, again, it triggers your monthly listeners go up. So these people are listening to you, and then they're going to also be, through the algorithm, like handed your new song when it comes out. So you can play the game that way.
I'm glad that you touched on that. I forgot.
I know, I did too. So you can re-promote like an older release and do it that way in order to kind of waterfall listeners to your new release.
For sure. And the big thing I would say is, a lot of people who ask questions like this, well, not a lot, but I've seen it asked where it's like, man, I wrote this song 30 years ago. Can I re-release it and promote it? And the answer is, of course you can, but like, does it sound like it was written and recorded 30 years ago? You're just going to have less success with a song that doesn't feel like it belongs in.
It's just like, if it's that far removed, you may want to like re-record or write a new song. But if you are, like Callie was saying, are a good prime example that's really common for us that we see all the time is people coming to us that haven't released in a year or 2 or 3. It's been like they've taken a little break from releases because they've been on the road or whatever, and they are gearing up to release. We really often use as a strategy for their upcoming release to go and re-promote the last release that they had, just to drive up that algorithm. We play a lot of tricks on the algorithm and it works, and so we do it.
Yeah, that's great.
Let's see.
Jessica also asked, do you ever pitch, genres aside, towards sync licensing?
Oh, sync we currently don't operate in sync licensing.
We haven't really branched into sync.
Whole different world.
That's something that I did kind of do as a publisher, like a little bit when I was a music publisher. It's not something that Lucky Money focuses on because we're just trying to get songs like in front of these audiences that the artist really has a name on, to grow the artist platform and get the song heard. So we're not so much operating in that.
But stay tuned, Jessica. Maybe one day.
We do get asked that a lot.
She also asked, is it still true that you can only pitch a single song? Like if you've released an EP or full album, you can only pick one song from that to pitch.
it's true in certain situations for the editorial pitch. If you
Yeah.
are coming out, if you're releasing 5 songs all at once, you didn't single any of those songs, you're releasing 5 new songs all at once, like Spotify for Artists is only going to let you pick one song off of that 5-song project to do an editorial pitch for within the platform. So yes, that's true. When it comes to like our independent campaigns though, we typically suggest, at least in our world, for people to playlist one song at a time, because if you send a curator, like this is a good thing to keep in mind. Don't send a curator 2 songs and ask them to like playlist both of them.
You
or-
want to make it as easy as possible
Like-
for someone to listen to your
Mhm.
song.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't want them picking one or the other if you're trying to playlist 2 songs. So what you do is you do we do a 2-week pitching period and we do the one song. So if you have 5 songs, 5, stints of 2 weeks is how long it's going to take to get all those songs pitched. Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Good question from Josh. Touch on one more time on what assets the artist should have prepared before pursuing meeting with a company like yours.
Well,
Oh.
for meeting with us, this is not true across the board, I would assume. But if you're meeting with us, we make assets for our artists if they want that service and they purchase and like we do our strategy. That can be something that we make for our artists. But if you're going into a meeting with anybody else, you would want to have, or if you're sending out for press, you would want to have an EPK, an electronic press kit. You can Google what those look like. Or like copy a buddy's who has one already. You'd want an EPK. If you're either an artist or a songwriter, you want a bio. Again, in third person, just highlighting like who you are, not too much though. Don't get too in the weeds. Any like big things that have happened, just giving
Yes.
people a snapshot glimpse of who you are, why you're doing what you're doing, and why they should even care.
One sheets too, if you're initially reaching out
In a
to
one
somebody.
sheet.
And if you're like, doing like an initial reach out and you don't really have a connection to this person, sending a full EPK is not typically the best idea because an EPK might be like 5 or 6 pages long, whereas a one sheet's just like one synopsis. And one other thing to touch on with like, if you are building these yourselves, make them like a picture book, like a 5-year-old is reading it. Do not
Yeah.
put an essay in there.
Not text heavy at all.
Do not make it tight, like make it images. You want cohesive pictures, cohesive images. And again, this is something that we make and we have content creators that we pair people with. So if you are needing help with something like that and you're trying to do label meetings or you're trying to get yourself booked, we make these professionally. And so that's another thing that we offer. Our members get like free rolling updates with their membership on their assets. So if you like have an update to put in it, then like we'll just do that for you. Like there's all these different things that we do to help with that stuff. So you certainly do not need these things to work with us like initially.
Yeah.
But mhm.
Yeah.
Great question.
We'll take these last 3 super quick. Do you have playlists for Christian music as well as R&B?
Mhm. Mhm. We
Yes.
do.
We do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. As simple as that. Tom asked, is your company functioning also as a publishing company and or a label?
We are not.
Sarah
a
has
public-
big dreams, but as of right now, we are not a publishing company. In terms of label, we provide labels like services, which is how we explain it, and that can be, again, like asset creation to playlisting to editorial pitching for an artist.
Mhm.
Any of those things, but we do not. The easiest way I explain it is we do label services. We will not fund your project.
We don't sign people.
Yeah, we don't give
We
you
don't sign
money
people.
to create anything.
Which is what a record deal, like you sign a contract, you get an advance, same with publishing, you get money up front. We are not operating on investments and investors, which is why we're able to be so free and happy. And so we don't sign people. We are like chameleons. We work with a lot of publishing companies that bring us
we have
on.
affiliates.
We have a lot of affiliates and they need our services just like an independent artist does. But it's not exclusive.
Mhm.
We don't sign, so there's no exclusivity. We're easy to come onto a team that's there, or we're easy to be the team if there
Yeah.
isn't one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For
That's
sure.
awesome.
Last question from Jessica.
When you pitch, are you linking them to your Spotify account or Disco streaming link?
Do you mean distro?
Disco is another
Yeah.
platform like SongSpace.
Oh.
It's kind of like a lot of people use it in the sync world for like pitching.
When I pitch, I almost exclusively just use the song link that you get
Mhm.
from Spotify itself. But if you're pitching widespread to like a press outlet or something to get press on your song, then you can use your distribution link, or what is that called? Like your
From like
like your
DistroKid or something.
pre-save-ish link. That what is that called?
It's your landing page.
your
for
landing
single,
page that gives you like
which we make
Apple
those.
Music, you know,
We have our own
Spotify. Like
version.
that way they can kind of pick and choose their poison.
Yes, so
So-
it's not just the
Yeah.
Spotify link.
When I'm
Mhm.
pitching to Spotify curators, I just use the song links.
Spotify curators, when it's an independent curator, they only want that live song link, which is why our independent campaigns, we only pitch the song once it's live, because most of our independent curators aren't going to listen to a file or an unreleased link.
Yeah.
But PR, press, when we do a press release, if we're doing a pitch letter for a press campaign, which is another whole space we function in, which we didn't spend as much time on, but like if we do a pitch letter and we're sending it to outlets, they have to hear that song before they write an article about it. So if we're wanting to secure day of articles on a release, then we have to send a private listen link
Yeah.
that's separate. So it just depends on like the functionality of what you're sending it for.
This, I swear, will be my last point. In all of this, even though I feel like Sarah and I don't model this well, you want to be concise. Okay, you want to you don't
We're concise on paper.
Yeah,
Been
yeah.
concise.
concise on certain things. But like when you're sending something to any outlet, you only have their attention for so long, and sometimes that's very short. But you just want to send them like the hard facts about whatever it is.
Mhm.
Like don't just illusion with a lot of information.
More words is not better.
No.
Until you get a real relationship. If you become homies, do what you want.
For
But
sure. For sure. Hey, let's give Sarah and Callie a big hand for being with us today on Song Chasers. And once again, luckymoneyent.com. luckymoneyent.com. Thank you so much, Carolyn, for capturing
Wow.
such good bullet points.
Start note taker.
Oh my God.
Some really, really great stuff.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Made It in Music podcast. Make sure to check out other episodes of the Made It in Music podcast. We have well over 100 interviews with some of the top music industry pros, many here in Nashville and many from all over the world. Subscribe to make sure that you automatically get future episodes, and leave us a review if you loved it. It would really help us out. Or send an email to support@fullcirclemusic.com if you have ideas for how we can improve the show. If you would like to become a Song Chasers member and attend these training sessions live, head over to joinsongchasers.com to learn more. You also get additional exclusive trainings from Seth Mosley, you get our Track Suite Pro software, you get song reviews from me and my team, and you get access to a custom social media network we created exclusively for songwriters and musicians. There's nothing else like it on the internet. Go to joinsongchasers.com to learn how to join, and check out madeitinmusic.com for more content and episodes from this podcast. See you in the next episode.